A demonstration took place outside the US consulate in Sydney to protest the Australian government's support for the intervention in Libya.
We do not see that the US intervention, whether it's bombing campaigns, supposed no-fly zones, troops on the ground, whatever, if the end point is always the same. Civilians get killed and the task of actually building democracy for themselves is overthrown. This has been the story in Iraq. It has been the devastating story in Afghanistan.
Protesters are saying that military intervention is not the answer for the growing unrest in Libya.
The West and its allies have no immediate strategy in this new war except doing the utmost to ensure that the current wave of protests in the Middle East can be used to promote the strategic interests of Western governments.
The protesters express their support for the Libyan people's movement, but say that true democracy cannot be imposed from the outside. They also say the Australian government, along with other Western powers, have been selective in their support for movements in the Middle East.
We are expected to believe that they are there to try and liberate the Libyan people, to fight for humanitarian values, when, the very same week that they began this intervention, Saudi Arabia, which is one of the countries participating in the attack on Libya, sent its army into Bahrain to put down the popular uprising there, to put down people who are fighting for democratic rights.
Journalist and filmmaker John Pilger addressed the crowd, saying if the US and NATO wanted to protect the civilians of Libya, they should not have armed Gaddafi, and they should now support a ceasefire so the Libyan people can decide their own destiny.
If Libya grew carrots, there would be no no-fly zone. Libya has oil. That's not the only reason. It's a strategic part of the world, and, like it or not, it's independent. Just as Iran, like it or not, is independent, and that is intolerable. And that is the reason that Libya is being attacked.
Protesters stressed that the history of US intervention in the Middle East, whether military or otherwise, has in every instance led to destruction and killings. Speakers addressed the crowd, slamming Resolution 1973, which called for the implementation of a no-fly zone in Libya. While the resolution stipulates that force may only be used to protect Libyan civilians, top US, French and British officials have repeatedly said that Gaddafi must go and that he's lost his legitimacy to rule. Protesters say this indicates that Western powers intervening clearly want regime change. Rihab Sharida, Press TV, Sydney.